Hello YouTube. So tonight I'm gonna talk about the First Omen. Now before I get started, I just wanna let you know this review will contain some spoilers. So if you really wanna watch the movie, I highly recommend watching it before going on to this review. So also before I get started, I just wanna talk about the premise of this movie. So the premise of this movie is about a nun who end up, getting impregnated by the devil and giving birth to the Antichrist. So let me start off with the negatives. The only real negative I have with the movie that doesn't contain a whole lot of gore and violence, which is, I'm a little disappointed. And the ones that does contain, some violence is pretty CGI. Like one nun gets, she lights herself on fire, but it's very CGI. I mean, it doesn't look super fake, but it doesn't look, very realistic either. And then you got one person who gets hit by a truck, and it actually squishes him, and he's still like, talking normal, as like as he's not really in pain or anything like that. I mean, he's in pain, but like he doesn't really express like pain as much. Like if someone get hit by a car, especially getting squashed against the wall, they shouldn't even be able to talk at all, and blood should be coming out. And I don't know, it just wasn't very realistic, and that kind of like bothered me, especially when it comes to a movie that is taking itself really seriously. And then it kind of like cuts to a part where, no pun intended, it goes to a part where the main protagonist, she's a nun, picks him up, try to like get him out of the wall, because the truck is literally like squishing him against the wall. After they get him out, you see a group of pedestrians looking at her very shocked, because it cuts to her, no pun intended again, it shows her with half of his body, like literally half of the body. And I don't know if that was supposed to be intentionally funny, because I actually chuckled when I saw that part, because I thought it was kind of funny. Like she didn't even notice. She picked him up, and he literally was like half a person, because like that's how badly the truck crushed him. So he had no legs, no torso. It just like I mean, he does have a torso, but he has no legs and no hip. It's just half of his body. And also, it wasn't very realistic. Like you could tell it's kind of like CGI too. So yeah. And also, like if she's pregnant. So the main protagonist, she's carrying the devil's child pretty much. And you would think there will there will be more carnage involved, which I was expecting, because I believe like in the first Omen movie, like I mean like the original Omen movie, there was a lot more carnage, because the son of the devil was more present, and in this movie she's just pregnant by him. And I don't know, I was really disappointed that they didn't show more carnage. I mean, it doesn't have to be like a complete bloodbath or anything like that, or like a huge body count, but at least like more carnage. Like the most people that got killed was only like 4 at the most, I think. And yeah, that was my biggest disappointment. Now the part that I mixed about is that there was a few things that didn't make no sense. Though I do like the concept of like religion, like doing anything to gain control. And I thought it was really nice that they took a bold statement on that, because like I feel like a lot of horror movies don't really go that route, because they don't want to offend like anybody, because nowadays people are very sensitive. So I thought it was like a very bold statement they made, like how like religion like tends to manipulate people to gain followers and control. At the same time, like I feel like it was weird that they turned to the other side to impregnate this nun by the devil. And I don't know, it's just a weird concept that they use. I get it, like I know, like I'm not saying like religion as a whole is manipulative like that, but there are a lot of like how you say, like religious figures that tend to do certain things to trying to gain its followers. But in this movie, it does it in a very weird way. I mean, I get it. Like the whole concept is about giving birth to the Antichrist, but the way it's I don't know. It just doesn't make no sense. Like I think it's weird that went that route. Like I said, I like the concept, but at the same time, like it just doesn't make no sense. Like why why go out of the way and go on the other side and having the nun getting pregnant by the devil to release the Antichrist just to gain its followers. I don't know. Like I said, like I'm mixed with that part. I'm not like completely against it, but at the same time, I'm not like completely on board with it. It's just weird. Like I don't know. Also, another thing I'm mixed about is the actress, the main um I don't know, something Tiger. I forgot her name. I thought she did all right. Like a lot of people saying that she did like a spectacular performance. I thought during the first and half of the film, I thought she did all right. Like she wasn't the best actress, but she wasn't the worst. But once it cut to the third act, when she started giving labor and she started like kind of like twitching and kind of like making like animalistic like noises and stuff like that, like basically acting like she's possessed. I thought she did a very good a job on that, and also when she was actually giving birth, that was pretty realistic. That's when her performance became better. But some of her dialogue, it just I don't know. I feel like it didn't deliver very well. Like it didn't come out very authentic in my opinion. And yeah, now on to the positives. This movie is very creepy. Like there's a lot of like background noises that is very like creepy and make you feel like very uncomfortable and unhinged because of it. There's a lot of like it's hard to explain, like a lot of like a lot of the background noises is all like whispers, and that's really creepy. And also like it's hard to explain. It's not like, I wouldn't really call it like opera, but there's like a lot of like opera noises where it's like it goes from low to like high pitch, and that's also very creepy. And there's also a lot of good jump scares. There's a couple of times where like I was like hinging in the back of the seat, almost like closing my ears because I don't like loud noises. You know, a lot of good that some of it was predictable, but there's also like a lot of good jump scares that actually really got me pretty good. A lot of creepy images as well. This whole movie actually kind of reminds me of like the original Exorcist or even the first, Omen. But yeah, this movie does have a lot of creepy images. Gotta warn you, this movie does contain a lot of SA, so trigger warning. So I can see why this movie almost got an NC-17 because like of the a lot of the creepy images and a lot of crazy stuff that goes on with this movie. That's all I gotta say. Like this movie is really good when it comes to like the horror aspect of it. But like I said, like this movie does contain some flaws in my opinion. So overall, I like this movie, but I didn't say it was like the best horror movie of this year. So you know, as of right now, it is really good. It's pretty solid, and I highly recommend it. So my review, I give this movie a four and a half stars. It's pretty solid. And like I said, I highly recommend checking it if you're a horror fan. But trigger warning, this movie does, like I said, this movie does contain a lot of SA. If you're sensitive to that, also if you have like a mental illness, especially if you're suffering from like some type of psychosis where you deal with like auditory hallucinations, like I just want to give you like a strong trigger warning when it comes to that, because there's a lot of that in this film where it kind of makes you feel like that you're kind of like dealing with that, but that's just part of the movie. So yeah, that's all for tonight, and you all have a good night.